John's chest is tight. The black screen on his phone stares at him, taunting him. He's trying to focus on the TV, but the show's just not hooking him. Hardly anything seems to scratch the itch the way placing a bet, win or lose, seems to. He promised himself, and those he cares about, that he wasn't going to gamble anymore. But he's been holding off for so long that he's so close to saying fuck it. Sound familiar? If so, this video is for you. If we haven't met before, I'm Phil Shea, an addictions counselor who specializes in gambling and video game addiction. The fuck it moment is a real risk when it comes to dealing with addiction. You've been working so hard, you're committed to changing, but you don't know what sort of tools or practices you should try to get and stay on the straight and narrow. The point I will always drill home, it's not about willpower, it's about systems. Willpower fails when you most need it, so it's at its best when it's used to make an environment where you avoid being tempted in the first place. You're packing a parachute now so that when you are plummeting dangerously away from your goals, you can pull the ripcord and return safely, or, better yet, avoid falling out of the plane in the first place. The first layer is the money firewall. For this, you'll want to set up 3 separate bank accounts at your bank. The first is for bills, which is as automated as you can make it. Next is your living expenses, giving yourself a weekly allowance that is auto-transferred into it. Finally, and ideally, thinking about the long term, you want to have an investment account that automatically siphons off a set amount of money into the most boring index funds you can find. For this one, you want to be as hands-off as possible and no real-time feedback. It's a background process that gets tucked away, out of sight, out of mind. It simply disappears. The key rule is, if you're making financial decisions in real time with real-time feedback, you're one bad night away from gambling, or its dark twin, day trading. If it helps, consider a robo-advisor or human advisor so you don't even get a login, instead opting for a quarterly statement and nothing else. The second layer is the device firewall. Your phone should be viewed as the equivalent to the casino floor, and it's best to treat it that way. You've probably already done these things, but I'll cover the bases just to be clear. Delete all real-time financial apps, including trading platforms, crypto exchanges, prediction markets, and possibly even your banking app if looking at your balance is a trigger. Next, you're going to want to install Gamban, which at this point blocks all gambling-related sites and apps, and even blocks some crypto exchanges. I don't think they've gotten around to blocking the prediction market websites yet, but they're likely coming any day now. If you've gotten all that tucked away, consider setting time limits for other addictive apps that can end up replacing one addiction with another. TikTok and other social media apps would be examples. There are apps such as Freedom that can block those kinds of apps, with various ways you can customize and tweak it. If your situation, for whatever reason, requires you to manually manage finances, then consider having a second device that has access, but which is hard for you to get your hands on. You can leave it in your car, at your friend or sibling's place, or even get one of those time-locked containers. The main point is to add as much friction between you and what you know you'll be tempted to use to get a fix. The main purpose is to make it so annoying to have to get to that the impulse passes before you're able to get your hands on it. The third layer I'll talk about today is what I'm delicately calling the fuck it protocol. The previous 2 protocols were about adding friction and keeping things out of sight, out of mind. But this one is about the low moments, where you're bored and jonesing. Your tank is running on empty, and you think, what could it hurt? And you catch yourself thinking Bilbo thoughts of, after all, why shouldn't I? So here are some tips. First, set a 10-minute timer. Buying your higher brain functions some time to kick back online, moving away from the limbic system. Remember, behavioral addictions are primarily emotion-based conditions, so it helps if you do something physical to shake yourself into a new state. There's a general psychological rule worth knowing. Emotions follow motion. If you're stuck in a feeling and you recognize it, get up and move. Dance, do push-ups, walk to another room. The specific activity matters less than the disruption. You're forcing your body to process a different input and your emotions will follow. If you've done all that and it's still not working, contact somebody. Even just one person. Even just a text, because it's less about having a deep conversation and more about breaking the isolation. Because the urge to gamble is loudest when it's your only companion in the wee hours. And if you're living with somebody and you're close to cracking, tell them. I know that feels impossible, but here's something worth remembering. Whatever you run from gets bigger and scarier. Saying it out loud shrinks it back down. The final part of this protocol is writing down or telling someone what the urge is. Pinpoint it in words as much as you can, such as, I'm telling myself that one bet could fix it, or I'm telling myself that prediction markets aren't really gambling, or I'm telling myself I deserve a break. Most of the time, simply stating it plainly like that can allow you to have enough emotional distance to think about it rationally and distance yourself from the urge. So, those are the 3 firewalls: money, device, and the fuck it protocol. Set them up when you're calm, and they'll hold when you're not. But here's the thing I haven't addressed yet, and it might be the most important piece. You can build every firewall I've just described and still end up back at square one. Why might that be? It's because some people want it so bad they can't help but race towards it as if it's in front of them. That's excitement and motivation. But what about down the line when the bloom is off the rose and your life is shades of gray? That's a different problem entirely, and it's what I'm going to dig into next week. If you found this useful and would like a hand figuring out what works for you, there's a link below. It's not a sales call or a lecture, just a simple conversation to see if we're a good fit. And as always, I'm Phil Shea, Addictions Counselor. Have a great day.